Welcome back, Kris, Budden, Rene, Ingoglia. The Temple Tough, the single digits, is one of my favorite traditions in all of college football because it's also voted on by the players, so you really get a sense of your leadership, your impact on a team.
And it means a lot to those players, and I love that tradition at Temple, and it carries on year after year. And yeah, those players really go after it to try to get those single-digit numbers.
It's also really interesting because they don't just announce it all at once, like the 1 through 3 and then 3 through 6.
Yeah.
And so the anticipation leading up, and when you talk to players, it does mean a lot to them. So that's been cool to see that tradition continues year after year. As we take a look at the team bio, it was a rough 2020 for the Owls. Things canceled. They couldn't even open up the season and play more than 7-on-7 to practice with because of COVID restrictions. They ended up 1-6 in Coach Carey's second year last year.
Yeah, I don't think any team had it worse than Temple last year, everything they went through. Like you talked about it, their opener wasn't until October 10th, which is crazy when you think about it. Just a rough year. So I'm sure it's been much better leading into this season for Temple and head coach Rod Carey.
Well, we're bearing the lead because we showed you head coach Rod Carey was on a bus. And like we saw with Cincinnati, they're going to go and have a fall camp. If we want to say hello, Coach Carey, you're with us? How's the Wi-Fi on the bus?
You never know what it's going to be in a minute.
Well, hopefully we still got, I heard you for a second, Coach. You got us?
Yeah, I got you now.
There we go.
Hey, tell us where you're going and why.
Well, so we're going up into New York, and we just thought it was time to get away and get together as a team.
Real quick follow-up to that before we let the media hop in. Given everything that happened last year, I mean, what do you want to gain from this time with the team to be able to build that chemistry?
I think the first thing is bonding. Just takes everyone out of their element and gets us together alone. From there, it's about the work. And it's always about the work.
Well, let's get to Chuck now as he's going to navigate, play quarterback for us as the media asks you guys some questions.
Thanks, Kris. Thanks, Coach, for joining us. We're going to take the first question from Sean Pastor, please. Owls Daily.
Hey, Rod. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Right off the bat, I just wanted to ask vaccination. Like, what? Would you share what the percentage of the team is that's vaccinated?
Yeah, I think the last time I was informed, it was over 80%.
Okay. And how isolated are you going to be on this campus?
Pretty bad, like any campus.
Yes, I mean, they're on their way to New York. The Wi-Fi is going to go in and out between the big buildings. I know. I thought they would have, had like super Wi-Fi on a bus. Let's take a look at the Temple Owls schedule for this year. As we mentioned, they only got 7 games through last year. So much had to be redone. This year, you got to play Rutgers on the road. You host Boston College. Some tough road games, too, when you got to go to Cincinnati, to Tulsa. What interests you most on this?
Well, it's a tough schedule, but really the big thing is they had a lot of quarterback issues last year. Well, they've already named Dewan Mathis their starter, so I think that is really good for them. He was the day one starter for Georgia last year. He's in there, was in there for the spring, so I think that's really good for them as they move forward into the start of this season.
Well, let's toss it over to Chuck who has some more questions for Coach Rod Carey.
Thanks, Kris. We're gonna go to Sam Cohn from the Philadelphia Inquirer, please.
Hey, Coach. It's good to see you. Just wondering, after dealing with all the hardships of last season, everything you guys went through, do you feel like there's anything you can learn from it or take away from it heading into this season, or do you feel like it's more of a clean slate with all the new faces on your roster?
I know this. No one can throw anything at us that we can't handle now. You go from them telling us how we can practice or what we should do or when we should do. So anything light of that, we can tackle it.
Thank you.
We'll take the next question from Dante Colinelli from owlscoop.com, please.
Hey, Rod. I just wanted to ask, how nice is it going to be to have something much closer to a regular, fall this year? You guys were backed up for so long. You didn't get to play until October. How is that going to help you guys?
The biggest thing is you can set a schedule and you can stick to it. So that'll be the number one advantage we have. And then we got to get the work in, which we're going to get in on schedule, I guess you'd say.
We'll go next to Dan Tortora, Wake Up Call DT, please.
Coach, the quarterback situation, just what you can tell me about that room, and as you go forward here into fall camp, just what you've seen and what we should expect maybe moving forward.
Well, Dewan Mathis is our starter, and Real had a real good spring, along with a couple other guys that are younger and in there. But then Justin Lynch got on campus as well, and he looks really good. So I think there's going to be a good competition there for the backup role. And Dewan is a real self-motivated guy, so he'll want to go ahead and keep getting better himself too, and really don't got to push that a whole lot.
And Rod, for a head coach dealing with the day-to-day, plus add in a pandemic, add in name, image, and likeness, realignment, college football playoff expansion, how do you tackle all of this? And there's no down moment for a coach in a normal year, and in an abnormal time, there's a lot that you have to think about now.
Yeah, with NIL, we did our work before it. So we were starting in January, and we came back. We got education sessions and really kind of taught them what it was going to look like from what we knew. And really that came to fruition. So that was kind of handled last semester. Really, it's all about the work right now. This is the best time of the year for a team and a head coach. It's all football all the time.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
We'll go next to AJ Patel, WHIP in Philadelphia, please.
Hey, Coach Carey. I was just wondering, with how early you selected Dewan Mathis as being your starter, I know you said he's a real self-motivated guy. What are some other things you've maybe seen from Dewan Mathis that may not appear on film, and what does he bring to the team that is different from the other quarterbacks in that room?
The first thing to your question is he hasn't played a lot of football since high school. So the rapid improvement, the curve for improvement is fantastic. And so you see that day to day, which you guys won't see, but we see it. And then in that room, he has a lot of similar characteristics to everybody. We got a room full of dual threat guys now. He certainly is more gifted than probably some of them in some areas and what have you, but the characteristics are the same.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Take the next one from Trace Trilko, Sons of UCF, please.
Coach, what are your thoughts on the league's position that games impacted by COVID will not be rescheduled and could be forfeited?
We didn't get any rescheduled last year anyway, so it didn't matter to us. It doesn't matter this year either. No change for us.
We'll go back to Sean Pastor with Owls Daily, please.
Hey, Rod. So I wanted to ask just about the sort of the health status of a few guys, right? Key type guys who were out in the spring. Tavon, and then also Zach Gill and Lancine Teray.
Hey, we're back here in the studio. Coach Carey kind of made a joke about, the schedule last year. It really couldn't have gotten much worse when you look at the postponements and when they were finally able to play. What's interesting, and we've seen it up and down this league, is the transfers.
Yeah.
It has certainly helped a lot of guys, and they're going to rely on it a lot this year, particularly in the defense. They only have 2 starters coming back from last season. which to even like the point of going off to this camp makes a lot of sense. You have so many new guys trying to build that chemistry and team camaraderie together.
Yeah, you need that bonding with new faces for sure, and it's good that they're getting away and getting their practices in.
And to be able to name a starter that early for a quarterback. All right, let's get back out to Rod Carey. Chuck, any more questions for head coach? Oh, Coach, I want to ask you, when we talk about the defense, so many new faces, give us a sense of some guys that we may not see yet that you saw in spring practice who have stood out on the defensive side.
Yeah, I think that Yvonne Rigby, Jordan McGee, Kobe Wilson, Keyshawn Paul, Cameron Ruiz, those are all guys that you're going to hear their name as we go forward here, along with Will Rogers, Nick Baggs, Darian Varner. I mean, we got a whole bunch of them that are going to be brand new. So you're going to hear a lot of different names.
You're an O-line guy. I got to ask you an O-line question. They got a lot of combined starts between them. Who has stood out so far on the O-line this spring?
Well, I think in the spring we had all 5 of those guys for a good portion of it. And really Isaac Moore, Adam Klein, CJ Perez, Hooper. And these are really the guys, but then we brought in a couple transfers and we brought in a couple other guys. So there's going to be good competition there.
Hey, Coach, Rene Ingoglia here. You've been in this league a couple years now. So in your mind, what makes the Americans so good and so talented?
I think that the skill is really good in the American. From also skill, and I think the difference is right there. O and D line, that does really good.
Hey, Coach, thank you so much for joining us. Looking forward to seeing you guys play a full schedule this year, Coach.
Yeah, thanks, Kris. Appreciate it.